Hey guys, sorry for starting late. Kendall and I were just chatting forever backstage about really like in-depth things, and we totally lost track of time. And I was like, wow, we should probably get the stream started for the two of you that are watching right now. But hopefully people can log in and watch this. It's going to be pretty valid for a couple of days at least, hopefully. And it's just been so long, so I'm so excited to finally get back into the grind, get back into making content, and have Kendall back. It's been so freaking long, it feels, because I was sick, and then it's been the international break and everything. So, Kendall, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I've missed it, honestly. Like it feels like it's been so long. It probably hasn't been that long. It's been a couple of weeks, but feels like it's been ages. But yeah, nice to be back. And nice to be back as the richest club in the world.
Yeah, everybody's saying congrats, Kendall. Like, look at that smile. So obviously we need to talk about this. We haven't had a chance to talk about it. You've come on the channel and kind of talked about the struggles that Newcastle have been going through for the past decade. It feels
Yeah.
like, maybe even longer. And then I felt like the takeover happened. Just like there were rumors about it. What, like a year and a half ago, something around there.
Yeah. Since like
And then
last
the
April,
deal,
yeah.
it just like got completed so quickly. It was like, this is happening. Oh, it's done and completed. So walk me through, like, how were you feeling when you saw that? What was going through your mind?
Well, I was like you, totally shocked. A couple of months ago, what someone like involved in the deal was like, if this deal happens or when this happens, nobody will know about it and it'll just be done like that. And everyone was like, okay, whatever, fair enough, everybody's been in the know this whole time and things like that. And then a couple of weeks ago there was the preliminary case about Mike Ashley's case with the Premier League and about the takeover being rejected last year. And I watched the case because it was live streamed because they argued that it was in public interest. This was like 2 weeks ago now. And 33,000 people watched it. It was a most watched live stream from the tribunal court ever in the UK. And I watched that, and when I watched it, I'm not legally inclined at all. I don't know any legalities. I'm not in the law, anything like that. And I watched that, and even I knew it had gone badly for the Premier League. And I thought to myself, I'm sure that if this takeover is going to get pushed through, that they're going to settle it out of court. I think it's going to be settled before it actually gets that far. And lo and behold, they solved the piracy issue. Saudi Arabia, obviously, what's the word? Like, unbanned being and solved the piracy issue. And then the next day, the takeover went through. So crazy 48 hours. I was still, on Wednesday evening, it was my little girl's birthday, and I was still sat there thinking, this isn't going to go through now. I'm almost I'm pretty 90% sure it probably won't go through again because we've just been here before.
Yeah.
And then Thursday last week, I went and filmed at St. James's Park for a little bit, about the takeover and things before it got announced, and got home. We had family dinner, and so nicely, me, my dad, and my two brothers were all there when it got announced that it had gone through. So we were all just like hugging, like, yeah, I can't believe it. So it was really, really, really nice, and just hopefully, it's a new era for the club because it really needs it. It's just been so depressing and so neglected for so long, and I really hope, obviously we won't know anything till January at this point, there's nothing they can really do, so we'll see what it's like in January, but hopefully it is better news for us as fans, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that, you were the first person that I thought of, obviously, and I was just so happy for you because I love you so much, and I just want you to be happy watching football as well. And I was like, this is just so good for you and the club, and I was like so thrilled for you, even though now you're going to be like a direct rival. But
not yet, maybe in a few years.
But Nick says Kendall and all Newcastle supporters deserve this.
Thanks, guys.
I totally agree. And Jesus, big up to the girls. Great, keep up the great work, and keep up for the good times ahead as well. So we really appreciate it, and I know Kendall does as well. So,
Definitely.
what are you feeling like? For the next couple of months until January, because I think that it could be crucial for you guys to make sure that you don't slip further into the relegation zone. So do you think that there's going to be more positivity around the club? Do you think that the players are going to be motivated, maybe even motivated because there's probably going to be like an exodus of players? How are you feeling? Do you think the manager is going to be replaced as well? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that has been, a reoccurring theme this whole week. If he's leaving, if he's not. Obviously, we're now on Wednesday and he still hasn't left. It is Steve Bruce's 1000th game as a manager on Sunday, and I just think maybe, as like a parting gift or something, that they're allowing him that achievement. And that's the only reason I can think of why he's still there, because we are currently sitting 19th. Everyone's getting a little bit ahead of their stations at the moment. We are 19th. We're without a win in 7 games, 5 wins in 37. It's just not good enough at this point, regardless of the takeover, because as you just said, there's nothing we can do until January at this point. The only thing is that, totally agree with you, I think the players will have a new lease of life because they're just rid of Mike Ashley. I think that's just the main thing on everybody's mind, fans, the club, they're rid of Mike Ashley, and also they're going to have to play out of their skins because every single one of them is at risk at this point. If the rumours are to be believed that, financial fair play is unlikely to affect us significantly in the next 3 years, then everybody is at risk. So hopefully the players just have more positivity. They actually want to go out and play, because the mood around the club was just so negative. I don't blame them for feeding off that and taking the negativity onto the pitch, because it would be hard not to. So hopefully they've just got more positivity, going into January. We've been linked. You will know yourself as a Chelsea fan, as a rich club. You'll know yourself. We've been linked to 50 players in the last 3 days, 17 managers. And I'm just like, guys, just chill. Please just chill. Obviously, Timo Werner was the latest one today.
I know, I saw that. I was like, not happening, kid, not happening.
Yeah, so we've just been linked to so many people, and nothing can happen till January. We can change the manager, that's fine, and I think that does need to happen, because realistically he's like the only thing left from the Mike Ashley era now. So we just kind of need to have a clean slate and move on. But if they give him this Sunday, I'm not going to begrudge it. If he is going to leave after that, then perfect. If he's not, then I'm going to be a little bit angry. But it is what it is. They've obviously got a plan, so well, I hope they do anyway. I hope they have a plan.
I feel like they always are like one step ahead of what we know as fans.
Yeah.
Who's on your mind for the manager position? I think Antonio Conte is available, Zidane as well. Do you think that they're gonna go for one of those guys, or
I would
you want
Conte.
and who's like you're predicting?
Yeah, I would love Conte. I just can't see him at the moment. As I say, we're not safe. We're really not safe at this point. And there is still a couple of months left until January. And Conte is very much, as Chelsea fans, you'll know yourself, he's very much like he wants to be in control of a lot of things that go on. And at this time, he's not going to do that. He's just got to kind of stick with the squad that he's got. I think that they might think in terms of just keeping us in the Premier League this season. So it might just be a case of hiring a manager for the short term, depending on how well he does. Hiring a manager for the short term and hopefully, keeping us afloat. There's been talks of Graham Potter. There's been a big thing from Damasio today about Brendan Rodgers, that we're going to pay Brendan Rodgers out of his contract at Leicester. Now, I think Brendan Rodgers will be a great appointment, because I think he can get the best out of players that aren't necessarily world-class players, because we haven't really got any in our squad of world-class players, in my opinion. I think it would be great, but I just can't see him leaving Leicester. Why would you leave a project like Leicester? They're not doing as well this season as they probably thought, which is that's fine, but you wouldn't leave a project like Leicester where the owners are really good and they really care about the club and the community. I just don't see that. again, Graham Potter is another one I don't see leaving Brighton. He's quite comfortable there at the moment, and there's not really any reason to leave. Lampard's been mentioned, who ideally I would really like to stay away from, because if he couldn't get a tune out of a Chelsea squad, who are phenomenal, who there's so much quality in a Chelsea squad, I'm concerned at what he would do at Newcastle, with no one around him. That concerns me a lot. So do you know what? I honestly have no idea where they're going to go with this. I would want, if I was me, I would want Conte, but I think that's probably like a pipe dream at this point. I really do. I just can't see Conte coming to 19th place Newcastle. Conte in a relegation battle just doesn't go well, doesn't go together. So maybe, you know, that might be a next summer thing. Yeah, but we'll see. I honestly, genuinely have no idea who they're gonna get. No idea at all.
Yeah, I bet Chelsea have like Gus Hiddink as like an interim manager like all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like whenever we sack somebody, Gus Hiddink comes in. So I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if his name gets thrown into the hat at some point. I mean, I think like the reason why I would like that I see Lampard being linked at least is because he's going to have like the pull power probably for like bigger names to join the team, but I do think like he needs more experience, like you said, and maybe in a couple of years it could be a good fit for him. But right now he probably needs something like a little bit out of the limelight, I would say. And I loved Antonio Conte as a coach. I thought he was absolutely brilliant tactically. He completely transformed a Chelsea side that came in 10th into a title-winning side, and you know, he made Victor Moses the right wing back. Like, who does that? And made him like elite.
That is such a throwback name. I
know, right?
Victor Moses.
Haven't heard it for so long. And I think the thing with Conte that could like persuade him is like maybe during the summer you guys are probably going to have like pretty unlimited funds. It's going to be like a spending spree, and he's going to be able to have his pick of whoever he wants. The only thing is, like, I think that right now you have to, it's a matter of like what type of talent that you attract, because I don't think you're going to be attracting like the world class from the very beginning. I think at least a season, but you can definitely get like higher end footballers that maybe you couldn't have gotten before, and that are going to be able to at least help you compete for like top 6 and Europe, and then eventually go for the Prem. And I like that the owner said that they're not viewing it as a short-term project. Like, they know that it's going to take time to rebuild, but they're willing to invest the money to rebuild. But do you have your eye on any players that you're kind of thinking, oh, they could be a potentially good fit?
Again, we've been linked to so many over the last few days. Yes. You know, Martial was the first one who, for me, I would not be going for Martial. I just don't think that he is reliable enough right now for what we need. Jesse Lingard was another one who I wouldn't mind. Jesse Lingard, apparently he's going to be available for 15 million. And for right now, I think that he probably would fit quite well. A lot of Man United players for some reason. So Johnny Van de Beek as well, who is not getting a game at Manchester United. You know, he wants to leave, and I could see him potentially come in. There's been like the likes of Coutinho mentioned. I'm just like, guys, like we're not going to get Coutinho. Like, at this point, we're not going to get Philip Coutinho. Not even in January. Maybe this summer. We don't know where we're going to finish yet. We're just not getting him. You know. So for me, it would be, I think we need solid Premier League proven players for now. You know, 3 like real quality signings, spine of the team, striker, a centre mid, and a centre back. That's where I would be looking. The likes of Tarkowski from Burnley has been mentioned several times, and I think he will be ideal because Burnley are going to want money for him, and we're just going to say, you know, he's 40 million clause. Just pay him out of it. That's just where it's going to be. They're not going to turn that down. So he will be great for me. I'd love Tarkowski. Kieran Trippier as well, I mentioned, because obviously I watch Atleti. He wanted to be back home in the summer with Man United, and it never happened. So I think that he will be quite easy to persuade to come back to, you know, the Premier League. So yeah, them sort of players. I'm not. if we make signings, I think it'll only be like one marquee signing, like a big name signing. I don't think it'll be in January going to, spend 300 million. That's not happening in January.
I think in January as well, like what a lot of people don't realize is it's like so much harder to get deals done because players typically, like, I feel like for the most part they kind of want to like finish the season out with their club, or the club doesn't want to let them go because they feel that they need the player to help them achieve X by the end of the season. But in the summer it could be a completely different story. So I think like you probably will reinforce somewhat in January, but you're going to see like a lot of signings over the summer, which is just like the norm. Andrew said, I think it's only a matter of time before Newcastle sign Harry Kane. He might follow Shearer's path. Do you think that this is at all possible? Because we know that he wants to leave Tottenham, and could Newcastle have more of a chance of winning something than Tottenham? Maybe long term, yes. But I think he's already getting older and he's not having a good season. So
this is going to sound strange coming from me, right? Because obviously, I think a lot of people know me. I'm very realistic. I'm a very realistic football fan, but Newcastle fan in specific, I'm very realistic about where we're at as a club. And for me personally, I wouldn't want to sign Harry Kane. And that's going to sound mad because people are like, well, he's way better than what you've got. I know that he is 20,000 times better than anyone we've got in our squad. But watching his season this season, watching him for England in the Euros, I'm concerned that I don't know if we'll ever even see the Harry Kane of like the last few seasons again. And I genuinely said when Tottenham turned down Manchester City's apparent offer, I said it was a mistake because he was coming up to, 29 years old. That's not old in terms of life, but as a footballer and as a striker at the level of Harry Kane, you don't last that long as that level of striker. He had a really bad summer in the Euros, in my opinion. I mean, he scored a few, but he just wasn't playing the Harry Kane role that we normally see him as a number 9. He's been a lot deeper, a little bit too deep, if you will. He was playing more of like the second striker, which is unlike him. And I said it was a mistake that they never took that money at the beginning. And it's actually showing now that it was even more of a mistake because it's been Son. Son's been the one who's dictated their season, and he's been the standout for their season. So honestly, if we could, I would actually quite like to stay away from Harry Kane if that was possible. Just because if we make that signing and we take that risk and he's never good again, that's like 100 million down the drain that we can't really afford as a team who are just setting up to, spend these funds and actually spend money on world-class players. That is such a huge risk for us. So actually, for me, I wouldn't even be going near Harry Kane.
I think like a big part of it, like I don't know what happened in the Euros. I kind of just chalked it up to, well, he's playing deeper and his mind is probably elsewhere because he wants to play for Man City. And I'm sure that there's so much going on in the background regarding the transfer that we don't know about. And it must be like really hard to have your head in the game. But I see him in the league now and he just doesn't look remotely the same. He looks dejected, almost like he has stopped trying. He's not the same player. So I don't know if Tottenham can even get 100 million for him because all it takes is just one season, really, because then you start doubting and you're like, oh, is he going to come back from this? Is it a blip or is this like the start of the decline? And I think he's a super, super talented player. But it's just like really surprising to see the season that he's been having.
Definitely.
I would think like playing for Tottenham, even if you didn't get the move that you wanted, like I don't know what else is going on because it really feels like there could be something. Yeah. But that kind of brings us brilliantly to our next topic. Newcastle play Tottenham this weekend at home. So how are you feeling about this game? I saw that it was sold out. Do you think that you'll get a win? Your first win in a while?
The fans are going to be on absolute, they're just going to be elated to be back in a club that is no longer owned by Mike Ashley. Again, players are going to come out more positive. There's going to be such a fantastic atmosphere at the game that it might help us. We have done pretty well against Tottenham in the last few years. We've got a couple of cheeky draws here and there. We beat them when Joe Linton scored a great goal, one of his only Premier League goals actually, against them 2 seasons ago. So we normally are all right against them, but knowing us and knowing Newcastle United will mess it up somehow. So we'll be 3-0 down. Like, that's just how I see it. But hopefully, just the positivity and the general atmosphere around the club helps us to get a result. But yeah, we'll see. I think, just to be safe, I think I'll say maybe a draw, maybe a 1-1 draw. Because the players who have been injured, like Wilson, who would score the goals and things, he's just coming back. I don't even know if he's necessarily fully fit for Sunday. So we'll be relying on the likes of St. Maximin and stuff again. So yeah, we'll see. But I'll go for a draw. I think it'll be 1-1.
Yeah, I feel like Spurs have just been like so up and down. Like, they started this season pretty well, but then they lost to Crystal Palace 3-0, lost to Chelsea 3-0, lost to Arsenal 3-1, and then finally scraped out a win against Aston Villa 2-1. So I really feel that it could go either way, but I hope that you guys get the win. And also, we hate Spurs, so that's always good for us.
So we really need our first win of the season, honestly. Like, as I say, we're 7 games in now. This will be our 8th game without a win. So we're absolutely desperate for it. We literally cannot get relegated this season now. I'm kind of like on the thing where, we've got money now, so we're probably unlikely to get relegated, even if we just come 17th. That's fine. But we really, really need to start getting some points somewhere along the line.
Yeah. And what better than against Spurs?
Yeah, exactly. The one who, by the way, has been the chief agitator in trying to get this takeover, like, rejected off the bat. And Daniel Levy is still trying to stop us getting a lucrative sponsor, like a lucrative shirt sponsor. So yeah, it'd be nice to beat them actually after all that.
I'll be watching that game and hoping for you. Really. Well, guys, normally we talk about like the games that happened, but since we've had the international break, I figured that we could do like a super quick preview before we end the stream, because it's almost 10 o'clock and I haven't had dinner yet, and I've been going since 8 a.m. straight, so I'm like so hungry. What I do for you guys, honestly. So we already talked about the Newcastle Tottenham game. I'm kind of looking the big fixture of the weekend, I would say, is Leicester Man United. Both teams kind of like, I feel like this one could really go either way, because Leicester haven't been having the best of seasons. So I tip it to Manchester United, but I also feel like against like the bigger clubs, I feel that Man United don't typically win. I feel that it's normally a draw for some reason. I don't know why I get this feeling.
100%. It normally is. Last season I think they dropped points against the other big 5. So yeah, I totally agree. I think it could go either way. I think 2-2 will be my prediction for that one.
I'm just gonna look up like their last 5 games quickly. So Man United have 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Oh my God, Leicester's sitting 13th. They have 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 losses. I feel like they could show up, but I don't know. With Cristiano, I just feel like United are so like they just could draw a game and he'll get like the last minute equalizer.
He's a game changer, isn't he? He's a match winner. So that's just sometimes all you need.
I'm gonna go for 2-1 to United, begrudgingly, but I want a Leicester win. Something that's like kind of interesting for my Chelsea fans who are watching. Chelsea play Brentford. They've had a good start to the season. Like they're in 7th right now. They have 3 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss in their first 7 games. And so we're playing Brentford away. Anthony Taylor is going to be the ref, and Chelsea fans have history. I want to know, like, as a neutral, Kendall, what do you think that there's something with Anthony Taylor and Chelsea? Because it seems I saw this ridiculous stat that was like in X amount of games, he gave a penalty to the other team like 50% of the time or something like that. And it just feels like there's always this like massive incident in a Chelsea game that goes against us. And Chelsea fans are getting upset, and rightfully so, because I'm laughing because if I don't laugh, I'll cry. Like it's just like one incident after another, you know.
I don't know how he's actually physically been allowed to referee another Chelsea game, because after the last time, I honestly, it would be so much easier for everybody, Chelsea fans, the league, whoever Chelsea are playing, to just not have him refereeing any Chelsea games this season. There's so many other referees out there that can referee a Chelsea game. It's really not an issue. So when the evidence is there, you know, that his decisions are biased in some way, he's got the assistant surveyor, which doesn't help him. It didn't help him the last time. So, you know, I just think it would have been better to just completely take him off Chelsea games. So, yeah, again, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully not. He might be, the thing is, it might go in your favour in terms of the bias has been shown before. So he might be like more aware of it so that it doesn't happen again. But, you know, with these referees, you don't know what they're going to do, to be honest. Half the time, you just don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I try to like be open-minded and not like make judgments and not go far, but for me, it's just been a list of incidents at this point that it's just too much to overlook. It just feels like every game there's something that completely changes the game and makes it incredibly difficult for Chelsea to win. So I don't understand it personally. And I'm glad that as a neutral, you see it as well. Like, we're not going crazy. Like, this is actually a thing. But yeah, let's see if Chelsea are able. It's going to be a tough game. I think tougher than people think, because Brentford have had a good start to the season. And coming back from an international break, I think is always hard, especially for a team like Chelsea that typically has the majority of their team out on international duty playing. You come back fatigued, whereas Brentford probably have had more time to prepare for this match as well. So I really think it's going to be quite difficult. Chelsea have played like not great this season, to be completely honest, but somehow we have been managing to get good scorelines despite not playing great. But I feel like we kind of saw like against City and Juve, like that we got caught out a little bit and then we picked it back up. But I don't know what the score is going to be.
I think they'll give you a tough game. Just for me, in terms of like Chelsea, I think you always, just because of the players that you have, and again, maybe Lukaku hasn't shown it as much as Cristiano this season, but he is, again, he's a goal scorer. So you always have that little edge over other teams that don't specifically have a goal scorer, or like a talisman one. So I think it'll be a close game. I think they'll give you a tough ride because defensively they're quite solid, Brentford. So I think I'll go 2-1 Chelsea. Because again, I think you always have that little edge, but I think they will give you a good game.
Yeah, I kind of feel that as well. I'm guessing the goal is going to be a penalty because
Anthony Taylor.
Because why not? Yeah, I was kind of feeling the same, and yeah, Jam, I totally feel you. It feels like demoralizing that we're already like going into it, like what's going to happen in this game, right? But yeah, Ivan Toney is absolutely ridiculous. He actually
ex-Newcastle as well. You know, very good. Funnily enough, there's been a few strikers who've left us who've gone on to be like decent strikers, like Adam Armstrong and Ivan Toney and the likes. So yeah, I like Ivan Toney. I think he's really, really good.
Yeah, he broke the record for goals scored in the championship season, which is absolutely insane. So he could perfectly score against us as well. And I hope that Chelsea can start getting the best out of Lukaku. He scored in the international break, and I just felt like he's been so isolated recently that we don't really know how to play with him. And there's just like a disjoint now because I feel like the midfielders don't know if they should like shift up with Lukaku or shift back to help the midfield, and then it's just like a massive gap and we don't know what to do with the ball, and we're not feeding it to Lukaku and he's not getting chances. So I really hope that Chelsea are able to start addressing that in the run of games that we have. We have like really positive fixtures until the end of November now, so hopefully we can take that time to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a look if there's anything else that's like interesting. What about Everton West Ham? That's kind of like a secret good one, I feel.
Yeah, that could be a good game. Everton have started the season so well under Rafa Benitez. West Ham had a really good season last season. Yeah, that could be quite interesting. That again, it's such. The thing about this year I found is, aside from like maybe us because we don't win games, but like aside from like us and Norwich and things like that, a lot of the games are quite hard to decide as to the results. So I think that's so good for like the competitive nature of the Premier League. I think this one could be. I always go draws just to be safe, but I think this one could be another draw. I cannot pick between the two. If I was going to have to really pick between the two, it'd probably be Everton. Just because they've started so well and Damari Gray's been so good and Ross Townsend's been so good. So if I was going to side between one of them, it would be Everton, but I think this will be another draw for me.
Yeah, Jam is saying 2-2, and that's kind of the score line. I'm losing my English. The score line that came into my mind as well. Like, I did think it's going to be a draw, and I think it like could have the potential to be like a more high scoring game. Low key. I don't know. I always say this and then maybe it's like a 0-0. Like whenever I say just do the opposite, you guys like put bets on the opposite, because that's how it always happens. But I don't know. I'm like super excited to like have like consistent content to produce now, because I've been 100%. Totally out of ideas during the international break, so I just chilled and went to France. But Kendall, thanks so much for joining me. It's so good to have you back, and I'm so happy about it. And yeah, any last closing thoughts?
It is so nice to be back. Honestly, I've missed you. I've missed this stream. I've missed it all. So she's been off in France doing her own thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so cheeky, isn't it? No, but yeah, it's so nice to be back. And I'm just glad to have actual football back again, because it is so hard to watch England in international break. I can't express how actually horrendous it is to have to watch England in international break. It is so destroying having to watch that normally. So yeah, nice to have football back again, although I might not be saying the same thing on Monday, because
maybe you will.
Might be crying.
Hopefully you will. I know. I didn't watch any international football. Like, usually I try to watch like a Spain game.
Yeah.
But I just have been like so busy with work, and then I wasn't here, so I was like, whatever, you know. There's so much international football nowadays anyway.
Exactly. So. And like friendlies and stuff are like so boring, and like World Cup qualifiers, you kind of know really who's going to qualify like from the main team. So there's not really any like point in actually watching international football, in my opinion, unless it's a tournament, because then there's actually something at stake. Whereas friendlies and stuff are just so boring. It's just no point in it at all.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. So like, okay, I just fly through TV shows. I watched Squid Game in like a day.
It took me 2 days to watch it.
I'm like addicted now. My whole TikTok is Squid Game.
Yeah. I watch Alice in Borderland now, because I started Alice in Borderland.
My sister told me this.
Yeah, I started that the other day and watched the first episode, and that's apparently a very similar concept, like that came out before Squid Game. So see what that one's like now.
Nice. I'm watching Parks and Rec. I watched it 5 years ago or so, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna rewatch, and I actually don't remember most of it, so it's really nice.
That's good.
Yeah. I asked for recommendations on Twitter, like, hey guys, any series? And then I realized how much TV I watched, because I was like, yeah,
you watched them all.
Yeah. But damn it. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching this stream. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe. I have a surprise coming super soon, and I can't wait till I can finally share it with you guys. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video. Make sure to follow Kendall on Twitter this way, and it's also in the description in the YouTube description down below. And yeah, I'll be back with lots more content. We'll be back on Monday at our usual time for this show. Still thinking of a name. Haven't decided yet.
It's still, I would just keep getting sidetracked and like just doing the show. But yeah, we still need a name, guys. So any suggestions would be amazing.
Please. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, we're out.